Hello students, I am Professor Beena Balal, and in today's video we are going to see how to configure a router which is connecting to different networks using the concept of CLI, that is command line interface. Let's go ahead and do the experiment. So first thing, I'll just pick up the devices by using the device option in the Cisco Packet Tracer. So suppose I want to use a router. Say I'll pick up 2911 as the router. Okay. Then I will take up the other devices such as switch. So this time I will be taking this switch. You are free to use any other switch. So I'm taking 2950-24 switch. Okay. And I will select some end devices. So you're free to use any type of end devices. So I'm selecting these end devices in my network right now. Okay. Now I will use the connection. I'll use the automatic type of connection to connect my devices like this. Now students, as you are aware that router is used to connect two different networks. So we are going to connect these networks and make them different by giving them different IP addresses. Okay. So let me just adjust these orientations properly for the devices. Alright. So just to distinguish between the two networks, let's give them some colors. So I will just use, so this is one of my network and the other is this network, for example. Okay, ठीक है. Now this is one network and the other side is another network which is connected with the help of routers. Now I will have to give, now router is a device which connects two different networks, and if you see, one portion of the network is green and the other side is red. So we need to make the configuration of the router so that this part of the network also becomes green in color or it becomes active. So before that, let's give the names to the router. Let's give the name to the network. So suppose this is my network A and it is having a IP address, for example 192.167.1.0. Okay. Now this is my network A. This network A, since the router comes into picture, there is a concept of default gateway which is occurring over here. So default gateway. So this is 192.167.1.0 is the address of the network A. Uska default gateway is 192.167.1.1. Okay, and all the devices will have the same default gateway. Now let me just name this the other side. This is my network B and it is having a address which is 192.167.2.0. So this is a different network, so it is having 2.0. Similarly, default gateway is 2.1. Alright, so this is what I have written over here so that you can get a view of what are the IP addresses of the default gateway and what is the network address. Now let's go ahead and configure our devices. So I'll configure it. I go to desktop, IP configuration, and I just copy this address so that I can use it. Alright, okay. So I'll go to this PC and this is 1.2, second one. Alright, and for this I give the default gateway, and default gateway remains the same for all the devices in that particular network. Same way I will give IP address to the second device, end device 1.3, default gateway remains 1.1. Okay, third device, desktop IP configuration 1.4, default gateway is 1.1. Okay, so I have configured and given the IP addresses to all the devices of network A. So for convenience sake, let me just write down the network, the IP address of each of the device. This is 1.2. This is 1.3, and this side it is 1.4. Okay, so same way I have to give the IP addresses for all the devices which are there in my network B. So let's go ahead and give the IP addresses. Desktop IP configuration. So this network is 2.0 network. So naturally all the addresses will be 2.2, 2.3 and 2.4 like that. Default gateway is going to be 2.1 for all the devices of this network. So this is 2.2, this is going to be 2.3. So I give the IP address. So 2.3. Default gateway is going to be same for all the devices, 2.1. Do not forget to give the default gateway over here, because whenever router comes into picture, you have to give the default gateway. This is 2.4 and the IP address default gateway is 2.1. Okay, so let's put it over here. इसका है 192.167.2.2. This is going to be 192.167.2.3, and this is going to be 2.4. So we have finished the configuration of all the devices. Now what you can see that this part is still red in color, and we have to configure our router using CLI. So let's go ahead and do that. I click on the router, I go to CLI, that is command line interface, and here it is asking me, would you like to enter the initial configuration? Yes, no, say no. Okay. Now I want to configure the router. So you have to use the first command, enable. Then the second command is configure, CONFIGURE. Okay. Now when I keep the cursor over here, let me just show you. When I keep the cursor or mouse over here, this side interface is gig 0/0, and this side you will be able to see it on the screen. It is gig 0/1. It is gigabit Ethernet 0/1 on the right hand side, and here it is gigabit Ethernet 0/0. So it's just blinking gig 0/0. Alright, so we need to configure on both the sides gigabit Ethernet port. For that we will be writing here interface, INTERFACE, interface gigabit Ethernet. Okay, interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0. Okay, now once we do that, next we have to give the IP address of the default gateway of our network A, which is our left hand side network. So IP address 192.167.1.1. This is the IP address of default gateway, and then the mask. Since this is a class C address, the mask is going to be 255.255.255.0. Okay, so we have given the IP address of the default gateway along with the mask. Last command over here is no shut down. You can even write no shut. So once I do that, I get a message over here, line code protocol on interface gigabit ethernet 0/0, change state to up. Okay, so now you can see on the left hand side, whatever portion was red in color is slowly becoming green. Okay, now our next part is to next part will be to configure our right hand side network. So we will go with the command interface gigabit ethernet 0/1. Okay, interface gigabit ethernet 0/1, then IP address. Now we have to give the IP address of the right hand side network ka default gateway, that is 192.167.2.1, and the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Okay, so I get this, and then the last command is no shut, or you can even type no shutdown. Now when you look at this, the entire network slowly become green in color. Okay, we'll just wait till the time the network becomes green in color. So once it is green, then we will start putting the packet from source to destination. Okay, so now I pick up a packet. Suppose this is my source and this is my destination. Okay, first time if you see, it will be failed because router takes some time to update itself. So we will try one more time. This is my source and this is my destination. Okay, so we'll just try it. So now you can see successful. That means my packet is successfully transmitted from this source to this destination. You can even use a ping command to show the success of the network. So if I have to ping, I go here, I go to command prompt and I will write ping. From here I am going to ping the PC or the device on the other side. Suppose the other side I will try to ping this one, the third one, 192.167.2.4, 192.167.2.4. Okay, let's see if it is working or not. So it is going to show me the output now, request timed out. So we will ping again. First go, you may not get it, 192.167.2.4. So now if you can see, the packets which are sent is 4, received is 4, and the loss is 0%. So we have got the successful transmission by using the ping command also. So both ways we have got the successful transmission by using the ping command as well as by using the normal configuration. Okay, so this is how you can configure. You can show the connectivity of two different networks by using a router and using the concept of CLI, that is command line interface. I hope this is clear to everyone. Thank you so much, students. Bye.